Roseanne captivated America when it premiered in 1988, and the fan base remained when the show returned to TV 30 years later.
That's right, I'm one of them. During the course of the show, we got to see 6-year-old DJ Connor, played by Michael Fishman, grow up before our very eyes. Gotta be honest, I grew up right there with him.
Yeah, and we're happy to have Michael join us in studio to chat about the return of the show and a special upcoming episode. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's so good to have you here, man. And I'd like to ask you the first question. Is when you watch the show, so much backlash has come from people saying this show is for Trump's America. And as I've watched it, I've been invested in this new season. I don't see it that way in terms of this being a show for Trump's America. What's your reaction to people that say that?
Yeah, it's not a surprise because I think people jump for a headline, but for us, it's really about the family. It's about how a real family deals with real issues and real consequences to what's going on. And we don't always agree, and we don't always get along, and we don't always like what our family says to us or about things we're doing, but kind of finding that humor and that love in that.
So I'm so glad that you mentioned family because you've been acting since you were 6 years old. You know, you're so young, and now everybody, including you on Roseanne, is an adult.
Look at his face!
And I know you have the huge cheeks. So everybody's an adult now. What are the dynamics like with your TV family off screen? Because now everybody has fully formed personalities and opinions. How does that go?
It's great. We really have like 30 years of real history that kind of goes into the characters and all that stuff. So when you see us teasing each other, when you see us playing with each other and giving each other a hard time, a lot of that is real stuff that happens behind the scenes.
That's cool.
Can I talk to you about the transition, just what life was like for you after the show? Because you literally grew up on it, and I read that it was kind of hard for you once it ended because that was your family. I mean, you're a child. The adults may see it as work, but for you, like you were a kid.
Yeah, for me, devastated kind of is the real word, is when it ended, you have this family that you've built and years of every big moment.
Most of your life at that time.
Yeah, my whole childhood.
Puberty.
Yeah, and right about the time you're starting to feel comfortable with yourself again, all these people kind of move on and everybody has to go find new jobs. And so that was a really hard transition, but I was lucky because I stayed in contact with everybody and I had a lot of support.
What did you do during your time away from the show?
So right after the show, I did a bunch of other acting, and then I kind of went behind the scenes. I got married, and I have kids, and so I kind of transitioned. And being a dad was really
Connor
important.
has kids.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. So for me, I went behind the scenes. I always knew that I wanted to be in this business, and that I had a lot more that I wanted to do. And so for me, it was about learning all the skills to kind of be a little bit of a well-rounded, hopefully a leader.
So, Michael, you got a big storyline coming up in an upcoming episode. Can we take a quick look at that here?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Okay, I almost forgot. Tonight is Mary's Skype call with Gina. It's on Afghanistan time, so it's 2 a.m. here.
That's 0200.
I don't know how to do the Skype or get up at 2 a.m. After my nighttime meds kick in, I'm legally dead till 7 a.m.
Now, for fans of the show, they'll recall that storyline where you didn't want to kiss a girl in school, and then here you are with a child who doesn't, quite frankly, look like you. So
it's great because fans of the show are going to realize that I ended up marrying that girl. Years later, it's nice to see the character, and it was one of the things that we really liked is to see that progression, and that moment shaped his life in a way where he opened up and looks more like kind of the country that we're familiar with.
One thing that's so cool about your show is just the impact that it had, and I think that's why we're all still fans of the reruns today, and then obviously, you know, now the new episodes that are on now, but reruns just because of, and we've talked about this with other celebrities, Danielle, but just that moral impact, that moral compass, that's what it always talked about, being a good person, how to survive hard issues. I mean, did you realize the impact of the show when you were doing it?
Yeah, I think for us, we were uniquely aware, and me growing up there, it was really impactful. It really informed me and gave me a perspective that I think I wouldn't have had any other way as a kid, and so I'm so thankful for that. I feel like I learned a lot, and I've been really aware from fans of the impact it's had on their lives.
Really quick, Michael, do you think President Trump's watching the show?
I'm sure he's probably watching bits and pieces of it, but I think he just wants to steal little headlines from time to time.
Hey, that's great, man.
Can't
Class
steal
act.
it from you.
Yeah, right, Michael Fishman. Thanks so much for being here, man. Really cool stuff. I feel like I've grown up with you. It's like meeting a long lost brother, man. So it's really cool.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, right. Thanks. I'm very dysfunctional, so I think I'd fit in just fine. Roseanne airs Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on ABC. If you're not watching, you should. It's great stuff.